What are the best sounding weapons in Fortnite history, right? Well, in this video, we're gonna try and figure it out. These are those weapons that they just sound beautiful, right? They're music to your ears, and it sounds that you can just hear by seeing a picture of that weapon. But what makes a great sounding Fortnite item, right? Well, I would say typically the item has to be good like 99% of the time. The sound should match the theme of the weapon as well, right? If the weapon is a sniper that can hit for 350 damage to the head, that's a scary weapon, and the sound of that weapon should be scary. I would say also, to an extent, whether the weapon is iconic or not, and you know what? I don't know what else, bro. Like, how do you explain to somebody what sounds good? I don't know. It just does. That all being said, ground rules out of the way, let's get into the best sounding weapons in Fortnite history. Alright, while this list is in no particular order, but the weapon that I talk about last on this video today is, in my opinion, the best sounding of all time, so definitely be sure to stay tuned for that one. But we've got to start off with a classic, and it's the OG Scar. This might just be the most iconic sounding weapon in Fortnite history, right? And of course, I'm not talking about the new version of the Scar. I'm talking about the old one in those early Chapter 1 days. It sounds like nothing I've ever heard before in a video game, right? It almost doesn't really sound like a gun, but it's just, you hear that sound, you immediately know what it is, right? Even if you haven't played Fortnite in 6, 7, 8 years, you legitimately know what this sound is. And while I don't necessarily think it's like the best sounding weapon in Fortnite history, one, it's iconic, and two, you hear this sound, you know somebody is about to put out crazy damage. You hear this sound, right, and you're like, oh, okay, guys, someone's got a Scar, right? Let's try and go after them. Or run away from them, depending on how you like to play the game. Next up, I've got the heavy sniper rifle. Again, this is another one that shouldn't really be a surprise that it's up here. I mean, look, when it was hitting for 357 damage to the head and 153 damage to the body, this was a terrifying weapon, right? Any weapon that could do that much damage in a split second without you even shooting back at somebody, that's a weapon that needs a scary sound, and that's exactly what this weapon does. It is a thunderous boom when you shoot this weapon. I can't be the only one, right, where I'll be like sitting in a box and I'll peek to try and snipe somebody, and I hear the sound of the weapon and I'm like, oh god, someone's got a heavy sniper, and then I'm dead in you know, a millisecond. And I'm like, oh, that person was actually shooting at me, right? You hear the sound of the heavy sniper, you get down into your box. And that is why this weapon is on this list today. Next up, we've got the infantry rifle. This is one that I didn't originally think to put on this list, but I asked you guys on Twitter, I asked you guys on a community post, and the infantry rifle was overwhelmingly one of the most popular options for this list. And both rarities, right? The low tier infantry rifle, the one that kind of looks like an M1 Grand a little bit, and then your higher tier one that sounds more, you know, metally, more clunky, and especially the reload. Everyone knows, if you've ever played a shooting game, you know the ping sound of the M1 Grand reloading. That's what you get here. It's so crispy. It sounds amazing. Like, it is underrated, one of the best sounds in Fortnite history in terms of weapon sounds. They did an amazing job with the infantry rifle, and again, it's something that sounds like nothing else in the entire game, right? There is nothing that comes even close to what the infantry rifle sounds like, and that is a trend you'll see with other weapons on this list today. And that is especially the case for the Am sniper rifle. So it shouldn't really be a surprise that certain Star Wars weapons will be on this list. I mean, again, they don't sound like anything in Fortnite, but they're also just so unique and they just sound cool. And the Am sniper is absolutely one of them. I used to pick this thing up in Chapter 2, Season 5, and sometimes I would just randomly shoot around the map just to hear that clean, like, loud ping sound followed up by reloading the individual bullet. I think this is especially cool if you are a fan of the Mandalorian himself, or, you know, any of the TV shows, or just Star Wars as a whole. And to my knowledge, it mimics his weapon in, you know, the media pretty well in Fortnite, and so that's got to be super, super cool if you're a fan of the Mandalorian himself. It's just an unbelievably cool sounding sniper, and I don't mean to spoil anything, but it will not be the last sniper on this list. And like I just said, we're not done with Star Wars, because we've got the DL-44 blaster pistol from Galactic Battle. I'm gonna say something right now. If you came up to me on the street and you said, Ty, I think the DL-44 blaster pistol is the best sounding weapon in Fortnite history, and you just walked away and I never saw you again, I would say, you know what, that guy knows ball. It's the Han Solo pistol, right? Like, I don't even watch Star Wars like that, and I know what this weapon represents, and the fact that you just wield it like menacingly with one hand, and it's got that sick like lasery sound to it like all the Star Wars weapons do. Again, for me, this was a layup to be on this list today. I used to carry this thing not because it was necessarily better than any other weapon, just because I wanted to hear how it sounded when I shot it. I felt like I was like in the movie when I was shooting this thing, and yeah, any weapon that can do that to you, it's gonna be on this list. I think this is an extremely fair pick. A weapon that I had no intention of putting on this list originally, but after you guys reminded me, it's absolutely deserving to be here. It's RG's minigun. Now, here's what I will say. I'm not gonna play the actual Eminem song that plays when you shoot this weapon because, yeah, it's copyrighted, and I don't want to get demonetized for that. So yeah, I'm not gonna take any chances, but literally, it plays a song, right? Like, it plays a song while you're absolutely unloading rounds on people, right? Like, how can I not include this on the list today, right? Like, it is iconic. There is no weapon in Fortnite history that will play like 20 to 30 seconds of an Eminem song, not to mention Rap God especially. Like, it's just cool. Yeah, it's a little bit distracting, but again, it is an iconic Fortnite weapon. There is nothing like it, and the fact that like the lyrics and the song matches up with the minigun rounds itself, just so cool. Next, I'm gonna go with the P90, right? The compact SMG. The sound of this weapon fits what it is perfectly, right? It is just a bully SMG, just rip through builds, and that's exactly what it sounds like when you shoot this weapon. I don't really know how to like explain the sound, right? You guys just heard it. You guys know what the P90 sounds like. It's one of my favorite sounding SMGs in Fortnite history, and for me, again, was another layup to be on this list today. Next up, I've got the Westar 34 blaster pistols from Galactic Battle, and some of you may have not used this because these weapons were just barely added in the end of Galactic Battle and have never been seen again and were never seen before Galactic Battle. And I promise you, right, like, I'm not a Star Wars glazer, right? Anybody who knows me knows I'm not a fan of Galactic Battle. But the sound of just dual-wielding these blaster pistols, they have such a unique sound. I don't know how to explain them, right? They have this, like, crazy high-pitched sound that's literally not like any other pistol in Fortnite history. It sounds so unique, and this is another weapon that I didn't necessarily think was that good, but I still would take it in Galactic Battle just to hear the sound of it because it sounded cool. I know you guys are hearing me say the same things over and over again. I mean, right, what else am I supposed to say, right? Like, how else do you describe how weapons sound? And I will say, this weapon doesn't really, like, match the criteria for a weapon to be on this list today, right? It's really not that good. It's okay. The weapon isn't really that iconic, and it's not like a scary sounding weapon. It doesn't, like, put fear into you when you hear it, but honestly, the coolness factor overrides all those for me. Another weapon that you knew was going to be on this list, and I'm teasing you a little bit, it's not the best sounding weapon in Fortnite history, but it is the pump shotgun. Now, I will say one thing, right? There are many other shotguns that you could put on this list instead of the regular pump, right? I'm thinking the Havoc pump shotgun. I'm thinking like the original Season 9 combat shotgun. Even the Ranger shotgun, I think, sounds amazing, right? Like, a lot of the shotguns have great sounds in this game, but how could I turn down the original pump? That just thunderous blast, right? It sounds like thunder is, like, cracking in the air every time you shoot this weapon. Also, totally not being considered for this list, but the pull-out sound of the pump is just the best out of literally any weapon ever. Not to mention, when you get into those purple and legendary spaz rarities, I mean, that is so sick, right? Like, everybody knows that sound. You hear that sound, you associate it with hitting somebody for 220 damage to the head. Like, there's no better feeling than hearing that sound and then looking on your screen and seeing 200 damage and just deleting somebody, right? Like, that is the ultimate dopamine rush in Fortnite. It just felt like sacrilegious to talk about a Fortnite video where I have the best sounding weapons and not include the original pump shotgun. So of course, here it is. I also wanted to give some representation to Chapter 6, Season 4, and that's going to be the lead spitter. right? Like, this is how a minigun should sound, right? I don't think the regular minigun sounds all that great. It sounds almost like a little toyish. The lead spitter truly sounds like a real minigun, right? Like, it sounds like a freaking AC-130 in the air. Even though the weapon itself isn't necessarily that good, it's like when I hear this thing in a lobby and I hear a charge up and I hear somebody revving down 330 bullets downrange, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna stay away from this guy for now. It sounds like what it does, right? Where it's just got like 12 barrels and it is just going to shred through anything in its path. It is a menacing sounding weapon, and as soon as I heard it for the first time in Chapter 6, Season 4, I knew that if I did a video about the best sounding weapons, which by the way is a video I wanted to do for a while, the lead spitter would easily qualify for it. And the final item I want to talk about today before I get to what I believe to be the best sounding weapon in this game's history, it's going to be a little honorable mention. It is the thermal imploder from Galactic Battle. I know, here we go. I'm going to get these Star Wars Glazer comments. I actually think this is the best sounding grenade in Fortnite history. Of course, it's not a weapon, so I didn't want to give it its like individual spot on this list today, but I wanted to make sure it gets a mention. It's just so loud. Like, it has this absolute like thunderous boom when this thing blows up, right? It literally feels like the galaxy is blowing up when I throw a thermal imploder. Now, I will say, not many people were using thermal imploders in this season. I think it's an absolute shame that we probably won't see these things for a good amount of time, although every single time I say that, the weapon comes back. So who knows? Next week in Chapter 6, Season 4, bookmark it, right? The thermal imploder is going to come back. I think this is an absolutely sick sounding grenade, but okay, let's get into the point of the video that you guys have been waiting for. In my opinion, the best sounding weapon in Fortnite history. And that weapon for me is the Reaper sniper rifle. The sound of this weapon is absolutely ingrained into my head. It is crispy, it is chunky, it is just destructive. And I feel like for me also, it's like I associate this sound with a weapon that is just so good and so easy to just one-shot headshot people with that it's like it was so obvious for me to put it here. Even with the suppressor, especially before they made the changes to how it sounded with the suppressor, it sounded great, right? A weapon that can sound great with a suppressor as well, that's got to be on this list. It's just a terrifying sound, right? You hear this sniper, you better duck your head or you are going to get ripped in the head. It just has so much bass to it. Like, it is genuinely thunderous. I don't know how else to explain it. It matches all the qualifications to be on this list, right? The item is good. The sound matches the theme of the weapon, which is just a devastating sniper rifle, the best we have ever seen in this game. And of course, the Reaper sniper is iconic for that reason. So yeah, in my opinion, the Reaper is the best sounding weapon in Fortnite history, but don't count out any of the other weapons on this list today because honestly, they all could be here. And yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you would put on this list today, because I know there are plenty of weapons that did not make this list that easily could have been, right? Stuff like the revolver or the deagle or even the basic assault rifle, right? Those are some great sounding weapons. So if I get enough in the comment section, you guys like this video enough, I will definitely deliver a part 2. This was really fun for me to make. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, consider subscribing to the channel, please, because we are so close to 100,000 subscribers and you're going to want to see the video I drop when I hit that milestone. I've been working on it for like 3 months now. That all being said though, guys, catch you in the next one. As always, peace.